Hello, North Central Washington, and welcome to Networked. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian, and I am so excited to be on air with you today. If you've tuned into the NCW Life channel before, you've probably seen me on Guada TV. Well, here's the exciting news. We've rebranded Guada TV, and our new show name is Networked. While the name may have changed, the heart of our show is the same. And for those of you who are turning in for the very first time, let me introduce myself. I have the privilege of serving as the Executive Director for NCW Tech Alliance. We're a nonprofit organization passionate about connecting people and technology resources. And right here on each episode of Networked, I introduce you to the people and organizations who are leading innovation across the region. On today's episode, I'll be interviewing two special guests. My first guest is forging a new educational path for local students, and our second is helping small businesses gain a digital presence. Please stay tuned right here on the NCW Life channel. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back to Networked. I am so excited to introduce our first guest of our newly rebranded show, Rick Ray. Welcome, Rick.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, welcome back because you came on our previously named show, Guada TV, a couple years ago when you were building out Pinnacles Prep. Mercantile was just getting going. Right. And as we were discussing off air, it feels like a million years ago because we've had the pandemic between.
It does feel like a long time ago. Lots happened.
Yeah, now and then. So I've had the opportunity to work a little bit with you and the Pinnacles Prep team and the Mercantile team. But for our audience tuning in today, can you introduce yourself a little bit about your role at Pinnacles and a brief career history?
Sure. Yeah. My name is Rick Ray, one of the co-founders of Pinnacles Prep and the current board president. I've been working on that school for probably 4 years now, but I've been involved in education my whole life as a passionate educator, but also as a social entrepreneur. Been primarily involved in kind of where art and technology meet education. Spent a lot of time designing curriculum around digital storytelling, and integrating the filmmaking process into core curriculum. So ran a youth media arts center for 12 years in Salt Lake City, where we were working with 2,000 to 3,000 kids a year in various media art forms. And then when I moved to Washington back in 2010, I launched a teacher training institute focused on how to train K-12 teachers on how to integrate new media into their classrooms.
And you have some very impressive awards, including an award in 2015 by First Lady Michelle Obama, and you've been recognized nationally for your work in education. So first of all, kudos to you for the career in education. But you're also an entrepreneur and help co-found the Mercantile, so which is where the Tech Alliance is at.
Right,
so we're pretty excited about the Mercantile.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm also a lead partner with my wife and Jeff and Heather Austinson. The four of us opened the Mercantile. I guess it's been 2.5 years now, I think. Maybe. Yeah, roughly August of 2019, maybe. It's all a blur, right? So it's a huge part of what I do too. I manage that space quarter time and along with my 3 other partners. So it's been a fun way to help revitalize downtown and really help one of the first co-working communities gel in North Central Washington.
And for our viewers today, if you want a sneak peek of what the Mercantile looks like, it is our backdrop here today. It's an incredible space for entrepreneurs, small businesses, nonprofits to meet. But today we're not focused on Mercantile. We really want to focus in on Pinnacles Prep, the new charter school that opened this past fall. Can you introduce what is Pinnacles Prep?
Sure.
Let's kind of maybe start there, and what is a charter school for those who are not familiar?
Sure. So Pinnacles Prep is the first charter school in Central Washington. Charter schools are still quite new in Washington State. Really didn't get going until about 2015. We're one of the last states to actually approve a charter school law in the country. Maybe we're 44th. I think there's still 5 or 6 states that haven't embraced charter schools yet. But there is a lot of confusion since they are so new, especially in this region. Charter schools are free public schools open to all families. We receive the same per pupil financial allocation that all public schools do. One of the pieces that makes it a little bit more challenging to open and sustain a charter school, though, is we do not qualify for the same local bond or levy tax dollars. But other than that, we follow all the same rules. But we have a little bit more flexibility and freedom when it comes to curriculum. But in exchange, we're held to a higher standard. We're held to a higher standard academically, financially, and operationally. So we have been approved by the state for a 5-year charter. But if we can't continue to meet these 3 milestones in those 3 areas, they will shut us down. Unlike, it's very difficult to shut down a traditional low-performing public school.
So kind of a higher caliber, or I guess credentialing requirements, but like you said, from the facilities piece, very upward battle as well. So
very challenging.
Where did you end up landing in terms of facility for Pinnacles Prep?
Yeah, the city of Wenatchee was very excited about our academic vision and our community vision to really help elevate our culture of learning here in the Valley. And we ended up signing a long 30-year lease at the Wenatchee Community Center, where we opened grades 6 and 7 in this past August, but our vision is to eventually make that a full middle school and high school campus, grades 6 through 12. So we're going to be adding a new 6th grade class for the next 6 years until we reach a full 6-12 continuum.
Well, yeah, no problem. I was there at the grand opening. It was really exciting this past fall to see so many community members. It was outdoors, masked up, very safe.
Yep.
But the families and the youth, what was it like opening the doors? I mean, I saw the grand opening, but for you being a founding member and working on this for the last 4 years,
right?
I'm sure it must have been especially impactful.
Super emotional and exciting at the same time. My partner Sarah Rolfs and I had been working on this together for the last 3 or 4 years, and our founding principal came on board a year early to help kind of finalize the mission and hire the faculty and finalize all the facility related pieces. So really emotional, exciting time for us and all of our founding families. We opened up with just under 120 students. I think we had opened with 116 students.
And those are across 2 grade bands, 6th and 7th grade.
6th and 7th grade.
And you'll be just 6th and 7th for the next couple of years, right? As you're building, or is there an immediate plan to do another grade sooner?
No, we're in the process of actually recruiting our next 6th grade class right now. So next year will be 6, 7, 8. The year after 6, 7, 8, 9. So all of the students will just stick with us, and the goal is just to recruit a new 6th grade class each year.
Oh, so they can just go all the way through the pipeline and through graduation.
Exactly.
Now, kind of shifting a little bit in terms of community, I have noticed that Pinnacles Prep has been really active inviting the community in. Tell us a little bit about your approach and bringing businesses, community members to work with students.
I mean, the goal of our school has always been to create a community learning center. So we really wanted to embrace a lot of the relationships that the Wenatchee Community Center had already established in South Wenatchee neighborhood. And I've always been a firm believer, as well as our founding partner, Sarah, that in order for schools to be successful, they need to be embedded in their community, and it needs to be a collective community effort, for kids to thrive and succeed. So our goal has always been to not only create a school where kids are there from 8 to 3, but can we create an environment that's bustling in the evenings and the weekends and summertime. We're not quite there yet, but certainly that's what we're working towards. And really embracing multiple community partners. A huge part of our mission is not only offering rigorous academics, but we want kids to be building social capital. Mm-hmm. And we understand the world we live in is not always how much you know, but it's who you know, right? And so I think it's a huge objective of ours is to integrate community partners whenever possible.
Well, this past fall, I think I noticed online you were working at Parque Padrinos, doing cleanup in Met Howe Park and getting the youth involved and kind of hands-on, and like you said, kind of with community partnerships.
Right.
You're embedded in a neighborhood of our community that has a high Hispanic population.
Right.
What does it look like in terms of learning, in terms of Spanish and English? Is there, what's that integration like at Pinnacles Prep? Is it a dual language school like some schools are? Or?
It's not a dual language school. We do have a goal of having half of our staff be fully bilingual. We're only about 35% there right now. Really trying to embrace the highly Latinx neighborhood that we exist in. And doing all we can to build meaningful relationships with not only kids, but their parents and their families and their caregivers. So at this point, we're not a dual language program, but hopefully really planning to embrace the Latinx culture and the language and the customs that exist in our community.
Well, it sounds like you really built that in planning as far as your staff and board and partners too, which I think is huge. How do kids get enrolled at Pinnacles? So if someone is watching today and they say, wow, this is an incredible program. I have a 5th grader.
Yep.
I would want them to be in Pinnacles Prep. What is that process like to get into charter school?
Like I mentioned before, it's a free public school open to everyone. So we're not only serving kids in the Wenatchee School District, but families from Quincy and families from East Wenatchee and Eniat and Cashmere. Everyone's invited. Our goal is for this to be a strong neighborhood school. So we are hoping the vast majority of the families that are applying come from the South Wenatchee area. But it's essentially a lottery process. Okay. So each year we're going to be opening up 60 spots for new 6th graders. And if only 60 kids apply, all of 60 of those kids get in automatically. But the charter school law in Washington has really been built to serve students that traditionally have been underserved or being left behind across the state of Washington. So if we have 65 kids for 60 spots, we actually conduct a lottery. But it's not a traditional lottery where every student gets one ticket. It's called a weighted lottery based on at-risk or underserved preferences. So kids that may be coming from a school that historically has not served them well might get an extra ticket. Kids living in poverty will get an extra ticket. So really there's a whole host of criteria that allow kids that are coming from underserved backgrounds to kind of gain priority. If my son applied, he would most likely only get one ticket. Mm-hmm. So really it depends on kind of where you're coming from. And we're trying to serve the underserved students.
So you built a lot of equity
sure.
into the planning, and without side noting too much, on the national landscape, charter schools can vary quite differently, and that always hasn't been the case, I think, in other parts of the country, which is probably why you've had a little bit of uphill battle explaining what a charter school is and how it's a free education institute.
Yeah, I mean, the charter school laws do vary quite dramatically from state to state. Mm-hmm. In some states, they're run by for-profit corporations. In Washington State, we have to be run by a local nonprofit 501c3 board. So I think, and like I said, they've been built to really serve marginalized populations. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you have to be 100% marginalized population, but that's where they're really hoping the vast majority of your students are coming from. Mm-hmm. It's been, we've been spending a lot of time educating the community and our neighbors on what is a charter school. Most people think they're tuition based, but no, they're free, open, they're free public, schools open to everyone.
Well, thank you for all of your work for our youth and students and founding this charter school. It's a huge accomplishment. It's a huge asset for our community. Before we head out to commercial break, any advice for those listening in the audience, or if a business wanted to get involved, what's the best way to reach out to the Pinnacles Prep team? To your principal, or?
Yeah, I mean, Jill's always open to receiving, solicitations from the community, but we'd love to give anyone a tour, whether it be a potential business partner or a prospective family. We try to do tours every week. If you want to just learn a little bit more about our mission, but I'd say the website has a whole a lot of information about what makes our school unique and what makes our school different than some of the other public school options here in the Valley. But yeah, reach out via Facebook or reach out via the website, and we'd love to show you around and share a little bit more about the vision.
Perfect. Well, the Tech Alliance is always about those tech tools. So go to the website. Rick, thank you for coming on air. Hopefully we won't have another pandemic in between the next interview here. For those of you who are watching at home, stay tuned. We'll be right back on air at the NCW Life channel. Welcome back to Networked. I'm on air with our second guest for today's episode, Annalee Calvillo with the NCW Tech Alliance. Welcome, Annalee.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I am so excited to talk about our great programs that we have going on. Like you said, my name is Annalee Calvillo. I am with NCW Tech Alliance, and I am the program manager in Latinx Outreach. So
Annalee and I get the chance to work together every day, which is really fun. She's a part of our nonprofit team. We've got a team of 6 people doing different programmatic work in technology, entrepreneurship, and STEM education. But today, Annalee, I brought her on air to really talk about the website program, which is something that you've been leading on behalf of the organization. So before we get there, tell us a little bit about yourself personally? Are you a native of North Central Washington?
I am. So I'm originally from Soap Lake, Washington, and hopefully our North Central Washingtonians know where that's at. Because usually I get the reaction of like, where is that? Or are you saying Salt Lake City or what? But no, yeah, I'm from Soap Lake, Washington, and I've lived in Wenatchee for 3 years, and then later on moved into Quincy. So I'm really at the heart of North Central Washington, and so it's really exciting to come back to my community and be able to serve through a nonprofit and technology. Like, how fun is that? So it's great, yes. And now I'm at NCW Tech Alliance doing this great work and working with the people that that once helped me. So I'm excited.
And you've seen on the ground how important technology is, and the gaps in those who have it and those who don't. I know you're personally really passionate about helping businesses and nonprofits with the website program. So it's kind of a mouthful, the Digital Presence Website Program. Can you break that down for us?
Yes, so the Digital Presence Website Program, or also known as the Website Program.
Keep it simple, right?
Yes, right. Well, it's a program that helps small businesses. So what we found at our nonprofit is that a lot of small businesses don't have a website, and many rely on social media a lot. So if they are online, it's either inaccurate information, or they have a social media like a Facebook page, and then that Facebook page isn't really maintained often. So we wanted to do something for that community, that demographic, and what we did is we applied for some grants. And so we, us as a nonprofit, it's our duty to go out and provide programs for our small businesses. And so then we also, in addition, partnered with Microsoft so that we can create some rural community resources and programs that will support that. And we are really fortunate to really have gotten them on board and help us with that funding to go out and provide a free website program. Like I did say free, it's a free service for small businesses and nonprofits.
Yeah. And thanks to Microsoft, no strings attached, right?
Right.
There's no cost to complete the program. There is a small cost for your hosting site, right? Tell us a little, what is the hosting site that you use?
Yeah, so we do our website building through Squarespace. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously Squarespace we don't own Squarespace. So there is an additional charge for them to do the website. So you could pay $260 for the year, or you could pay $26 a month. So that's the only cost that you really have. We do ask for like a registration that you put down $100 of deposit and check or cash so that we can hold your spot, because we are limited in spots. We only have 30 spots available this upcoming session. And we want to make sure that everyone that goes through the class really stays with us and completes the class and graduates, because that's our goal, right? That we want to graduate everyone through this class, and that they have a functional website that they can share with their community, with their friends and family. So
yeah, and you're right. And you're right. That deposit is just really a hold to make sure they're committed into the program. Right. I think we've got a few photos that we're going to bring on screen here. I think the first photo is kind of showing the class. So break down here in this photo. We've got some of our past business participants.
Yes.
What is the program look like?
So the classes are hybrid, so you can join in person or online. So, and then also it's a 3-week program following with a graduation, which means that you will join our class for 3 weeks, but out of those 3 weeks, you attend once a week for 1 hour. And then we also bring local professionals that build websites to really teach the class. And each business owner is also matched with a tech volunteer who will help them outside of class. So if there's a technical knowledge gap, that's kind of where they come in and they get that extra support. And it's been really exciting to see the tech volunteers come in and do that, because we noticed that a lot of our participants need additional support in that digital aspect. So they've really come in, and not only have they provided that additional support in like navigating computer, but they've also taught the participants how to use their Gmail, how to create an account, and how to navigate through Google Drive. So it's been really exciting to see that aside from us helping them build the website, there's other tools that they can gain from this.
And there's a lot of business owners. Here is a photo of one of our completed websites. Right. So talk to us about Daily Brew. Our entrepreneurs, right? Daily Brew's coffee coffee business in Quincy.
Yes.
But not a tech business. So it's hard for entrepreneurs to also have those technical skills, right?
Right, that is right. So, we have Rose Jones, owner of Daily Brew, who was looking to provide a coffee to her community online. And she was actually able to do that through our free program. So she actually has a drive-through and a location in the Quincy Public Market. And she was really looking to go online and provide, selling either her coffee grain or even just like you've been able to order online to get some coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was really excited that she was able to build that and through some free services, and that there was people in her community that wanted to help her. So that really helped her a lot. One of the things that she actually said was that COVID really hit her. And I think most of our participants really did say that as well. So, us coming in to provide an additional support really made them feel like, okay, there's some things that we can look forward to.
Yeah. You've also paired our tech mentors. We've also built out bilingual tech mentors to assist navigation in addition to translation as well.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. So our tech volunteers, there is a very diverse group, an incredible group as well. They're all professionals and they all see the need. And so we have some Spanish-speaking tech volunteers that have participated in this upcoming session. I am so excited to see the growth in our tech volunteers in terms of Spanish speaking, because now we can truly have some Spanish speaking tech volunteers matched up with our Spanish speakers who really need that support.
Before we wrap up, if someone is watching today and they know of a business or a nonprofit that doesn't have a website, what is the best way to reach out to you or to get more information?
Yeah, so visit our website for NCW Tech Alliance. So we are at ncwtech.org/web program for online usage. And then you can also contact me at Annalee at ncwtech.org. Oh my gosh, that's a tongue twister. And then you can also call our office and just click a simple button that says my name on it, and you can get a hold of me. And I'd love to even, if we get connected, I'd love to sit with you at the Mercantile and give you more information what that looks like, dedicated to whatever business that you're working on or nonprofit. We could talk a little bit more about what that would look like for you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming on air. I get the pleasure of seeing you in the office later today. Yes. So we'll be in touch later. But for our audience, we're going to wrap up here in just a few minutes. But first, we have a short commercial break. I want to thank you for joining us at our first episode back under our new brand, Networked. It's been so fun to be in the studio today and to have two outstanding guests. Rick Ray with Pinnacles Prep. I want to thank him for his time and for his leadership in the community. I encourage you to check out the work of Pinnacles Prep by visiting their website. And then it was such a pleasure to have our very own team member, Annalee Calvillo, share more about the website program. As she mentioned on air, this website program has been supported by Microsoft TechSpark, and we're so grateful for the resources they've provided to our 501c3.
Since 1999, NCW Tech Alliance has served as our regional hub for technology innovation. As a 501c3, their nonprofit mission is to connect people and technology resources to create a thriving community. You can network with the team and guests from today's show by visiting them at www.ncwtech.org.